happy holidays to you guys.
Happy holidays to you.
Thank you so much. I'm, in the spirit for it. I'm very excited to see the special. I haven't, as of me doing this interview, I haven't seen the special yet, but everything I've read about this holiday spectacular you're doing with JCPenney, I kind of have this vision in my mind. It's kind of going back to the days of the 70s or the 80s where everyone gathered around a TV set instead of a computer and, watched variety specials.
You say that the set looks like that and feels like that to us. Like it really does.
Yeah.
So what
Close.
So what inspired it? Like, what were there certain television shows of your childhood or that, gave you this idea?
Wait, are we talking about our television special or
JCPenney?
You can talk about both with me, but I was asking about the JCPenney special initially.
So the JCPenney, it's kind of like a variety show meets game show.
Okay.
Meets fundraiser.
Meets fundraiser. Meets telethon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
We're excited to be a part of it. JCPenney reached out to us and asked if we could do this collaboration together and Feeding America as the charity we've given the proceeds to for all the donations that come through. And so it's just a great collaboration, Backstreet Boys and JCPenney.
And we're gonna do a couple songs as well. We're gonna perform a little bit a cappella. So it's live.
Yeah, first time we've gonna be
Like,
interesting.
Wait, literally the first time you've done?
First time performing one of the songs ever live. Yeah.
Wow, very cool. So obviously, it's the holiday time of year, and I'm kind of surprised. Back in the day when the Backstreet Boys were around, and it seemed like every boy band and kind of act that was on TRL had a Christmas record. And I'm like, wait a minute, like this is your first Christmas record, a very Backstreet Christmas 2022. Like what took you guys so long? I kind of feel like you might have been the first to do it, but you're not.
We're busy.
All right.
Busy. For going on 30 years. No, it's been a bucket list of ours. We grew up listening to holiday songs, Christmas songs. They were in all of our homes when we grew up. And they're special to us. And we talked about it for years. And the silver lining really was during the pandemic, we had some time. We had to stop, and so we jumped into the studio together. Hadn't seen each other in about 6 to 8 months, and we decorated the studio up in Los Angeles in the middle of summer to look like a Christmas time. We had trees, we had Yule logs, we had music, we had eggnog, we had it all in there in the heat of summer. And we picked our favorite songs, the things that we love the most, and then we started recording them, and it took a little while, but I think also too, it was good that it did take some time because we were able to perfect it as well. We're a band that sings in harmony.
Mm-hmm.
So we really were able to get intricate harmonies in all of these songs, make them our own, make them really special and stuff that people can remember. These classic songs are not just our favorites, but they're everyone's out there. And so we wanted to do our best with that. So we're really proud of this album. It's charting now. This is the first time we've actually had an adult contemporary hit with Last Christmas since I Want It That Way. So there's a lot of really, really cool things, and we're excited to just be promoting it and performing our favorite songs.
And I just want to add that I feel like this Christmas album happened at the perfect time in our lives, at where we're at as men, because I feel like the thought, the heart, and the soul that we put into the record, it wouldn't have been the same if we were in our 20s. Like, we're fathers now. We have life experience.
True.
And I feel like you feel that in the album.
You do.
Awesome. I want to ask this delicately. Nick, I want to say I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry. I want to ask a positive question about Aaron. I know the holidays can be a difficult time of year for anyone who's going through something, but do you have any fond memories of, spending the holidays with Aaron that you'd like to share with the fans?
There's actually, I was telling the guys, we were getting ready we just filmed our ABC Christmas special, and we were sharing some stories. And I didn't get an opportunity to share this story, but when we were touring over in Europe, I was around 15 years old, and we were always over in Europe for about 3-4 years before we actually broke. And every time we were on stage, things were thrown at us, and there was all these stuffed animals that were thrown at us. And this is when we first started, and we were just trying to do our best, and and didn't really have much at the time. So I collected all these stuffed animals and I bagged them up. And it was like a couple days before we got home for Christmas. And I bagged them all up and I put them in this bag. And I literally had like, it was this huge bag on an airplane. And I stuffed it in, in the bin up there and I brought it home. And that night, I actually, I was a little older, so I could help my parents, decorate and get things prepared.
Wait, you didn't help Santa?
I was saying Saint Nick was
helping
actually
Santa.
in full
Saint Nick.
night.
Yeah.
And so anyways, I decorated everything and I remember setting up these little footprints going from the chimney, and I put these cookies out that had a bite out of it. But anyways, that next morning, all my brother and sisters woke up and they were so excited to see all these like stuffed animals like underneath the tree. And I actually put on a Santa outfit and, I came out and dressed up like Santa and it was just a beautiful time.
How old was Aaron at the time? Did he like actually think you were
But he
Santa?
was 8 years younger than I, so he was, don't know exactly the age, but
He was probably old enough to know it was you.
yeah.
Nick.
So I was Saint Nick at the time.
That's
Yeah. 15.
Yeah. So
16, 7, right?
okay. I see.
yeah.
That's
So,
voice.
That's an adorable story. Thank you for sharing that with me and with the fans. The one last question I have about that is just like I said, if someone's going through a tough time, a loss, a tragedy this time of year, do you have any advice for fans who might be going through something like that about, and how you're leaning on each other during this time at the holiday?
We are leaning on one another. We're coming together. There are a lot of people out in this world who are going through dark times in their lives. And, I encourage anybody out there to find someone, pick up a phone, call someone and, just come together, with anybody the people that you love the most. And, so it definitely can be one of those times during the year, but, just know that there's people out there for you.
Awesome. Well said. Going back to, much lighter conversation. This is not about this special but it's about television. AJ, I got to ask you about Secret Celebrity Drag Race. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
I just you had people fooled. I was trying to, it was kind of like The Masked Singer, but for Drag Race, like trying to figure out who people are. And I did not have it pegged as you. You did a very, very good job. How did you get involved in signing up for them?
My publicist reached out to me and asked if I would do it. And I am a huge advocate for the LGBTQ plus community. I have been for over 30 years and I will stay strong in that community. And I was honored to be asked to do it. I got to play for a charity of my choice. And I played for Trans Lifeline. And it was so much fun. And my daughters right now are more excited about the fact that at some point I'm actually getting my crown and scepter sent to my house. So they want to play with that, but they don't realize that scepter weighs about 10 pounds. So really? I have daughters running around with that thing. It's pretty heavy, but it was an honor to be in such great company, playing for a great charity. And I would do it again. Poppy Love is here to stay. So I had the best time, and Rue is just awesome. She's phenomenal.
Did your daughters know that you were on the show, or did they find out when America found out?
So what's funny is my wife and my daughters hate when I shave, and they think I look really weird without my beard. So when I was shaving, I do look weird. When I was shaving, they didn't know what I was doing and why I kept shaving, and I kept making up excuses that Daddy's face needed to breathe, he needed to get some sun, and then finally I came home after rehearsal one night with a pair of 6-inch heels. And they were like, okay, what is going on here? They thought it was the coolest thing and they had so much fun. And
they thought he was moonlighting as a stripper.
Yeah, they didn't really know what I was doing. But they actually got to, we were on tour. I couldn't keep up with the episodes. They didn't tell us who won. And we had to watch it live. So my daughters and I watched the finale. And I was actually blown away because they didn't tell me. I kept asking the producers, they wouldn't tell me. I really thought that Tatiana Ali was going to win Chakra 7. I thought she did fantastic, but I'm honored to have taken the crown.
When we were first breaking in the United States, RuPaul had his show back then. He was one of the first people that had us perform on television in the US. So We've
Wow.
never forgotten him for that.
Yes.
Yeah, RuPaul has championed a lot of early music. And actually, fun fact, the first time RuPaul was ever on MTV was in the B-52's Love Shack video. It's all connected in some way.
Yeah.
But that actually
Right, either.
is a really interesting point. I didn't know about that. And I'm curious because I wanted to go back, I was saying how it took so long or, until now for you to do a holiday album, instead. So I want to go back to the beginning because I've read that you had a record deal before the one you eventually got with Jive, that you were going to be on, I think, Mercury Records.
Mhm.
Is it true that like John Mellencamp like threatened to quit? I read this on Wikipedia, so I don't know if it's true.
I don't know if we should throw the. I don't even know
I
if
mean,
that's true.
we've heard the same thing. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Mercury was like scouting us, and
Scouting.
and
we had a
actually a gentleman that worked at Mercury, Dave McPherson, left Mercury, took us and the artist Joe with him to Jive Records, and we both got signed.
Mhm.
But I'd heard the same thing. I don't know if it's true or
We
not.
don't know if it's true, and I think we
a
should
good
clarify
story.
this right now. So
But we also heard that who was the creator of New Kids on the Block?
Maurice Starr.
We heard that Maurice Starr told the head of Mercury that this has already happened once. It's never going to happen again.
Here's a little ditty.
Oh.
Backstreet and John. No.
but hey, we offer John, if he wants to do a collaboration, we're big fans of you.
That'd be awesome.
I love John
Yeah.
Kruger. No.
Is it too late to have him come down and do I Saw Mama Kissing Santa Claus with you guys
What's that?
on this? It's not too late to give him a call, have him come and do on the live stream I Saw Mama Kissing Santa Claus with you and broker
Right.
Christmas piece
Yeah.
together. But yeah, that's
we're big Mellencamp fans.
Yeah,
So
we are.
we could pop in LA and be on the JC Penn special with us.
Yeah. Got about 2
Absolutely.
hours.
We got about
Yeah.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
rumor that I read that, and whether or not it's true, the rumor is, for people watching who don't know what we're talking about, that when you were possibly going to sign to Mercury, that he protested, he didn't want to be on the same same label as a boy band.
We had heard the same thing, but we don't know if it's true or not.
But
about
did you-
John Kruger.
But see, what's interesting is back then, this was 93, I think that I'm referring to, which is a little earlier, is I don't think people realized, we were still kind of in the grunge era,
Yeah.
how much the TRL era was going to come in with you guys at the forefront. And of course, Britney and Christina and NSYNC and all them, and sort of change everything or at least mix up the 90s a bit. A lot of people think the 90s was all rock. It was a good decade for pop as well.
Yeah.
Did you ever think that 30 years, later, 30 something years later, you would be still doing this, having your Christmas special and having a Christmas album and being, as you say, Backstreet Men with children of your own?
Yes.
Like, did you envision this kind of future for yourself?
We hope.
We hope.
honest,
all hope
I mean,
to on it.
our
I'd
goal
love
was
to
to
say
have a
something.
long
Can I
career.
say something?
Yeah,
Hey, let me
no.
say something.
So
No, it's true.
No, I'm gonna answer just like anybody else would say, because they're gonna say the same thing that I would say. And we had hoped, when we signed up for this 30 years ago, we wanted to have a career. At the end of the day, when you're in the music business, it's not about a flash in the pan. It's not about a one-hit wonder. It's not about the flavor of the month or whatever that is. It's kind of like sharing your goals, sharing your life together, and building a career. And that's exactly what we set out to do on April 20th, 1993, when we first were introduced to everybody, and this journey began. And here we are. I think we love this experience, and we love the band even more today than we did 20 years ago. And just sharing our lives together and becoming a part of each other's families, and growing and nurturing each other and being there for one another. That's what makes this band so special, and that's what makes people like, I believe, like JC Penny, like call up the Backstreet Boys and say, hey, hey, could you be on this special with us? Like, we just want to bring people together. Music brings people together, and having that bond that we've shared for 30 years makes our music even more special. So.
Absolutely. And, since this special, everyone's really looking forward to it. I'm just curious in general. I've noticed in the last, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years, kind of a resurgence for this kind of music. Like, obviously, you guys are very successful touring. New Kids mixtape tour, hugely successful. There was a time if NSYNC was on stage at Coachella, they would have been booed off the stage by all these like indie rock snobs. But when they went on stage 2 years ago with Ariana Grande, it was like the biggest deal. People were so stoked. I feel like this kind of pop music I don't think it's just, it might be nostalgia, but I think there's more to it than that.
I
Why do
think-
you?
I think to
Makes you feel
answer,
good.
well, to answer the
Makes you feel
question,
good.
I think it's important because we've been seeing this happen. We've been on the road, you know, for the past year, and even before the pandemic. But even more after, people are so hungry for entertainment. They're so hungry to just get together. They want to feel good right now. They just want to come together, and I think that's what the Backstreet Boys represents. You know, a good time in people's lives. The music, you know, was at a very special time when they were growing up, and that's what we're giving them. We're giving them, you know, an escape from all the crap in the world, and just to come together, listen to music, and have a good time. So
We're still putting out
good
great
music.
music.
Good
We're-
music is good music.